What up? It is Wednesday night, October the 7th. It is time for the Wednesday edition of the Iman Report as we get ready for week 5 of the NFL season. If you like what you're watching, please hit that subscribe button and be kind. Let's get started with the games for this week. We are going to start with the Thursday night game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chicago Bears. Tampa Bay's defense didn't do great, but Tom Brady and the offense was good. Chicago has problems at quarterback. Unfortunately, Nick Foles does not look any better than Mitch Trubisky. I think that the Tampa Bay defense is going to make Foles look bad again. Chicago is going to start looking more like a team that's going to need to draft a quarterback than a playoff team. The defense advantaged Tampa Bay. I think the Buccaneers will have a much better performance on defense now that they don't have to deal with Justin Herbert. Nick Foles is no Justin Herbert. Chicago can't run the ball. But what Chicago can do is play defense. But Tampa Bay can run the ball. That's how they've been successfully winning games, by using the run game. Tampa Bay's defense normally is good. I think the winner of this game the betting favorite is the Buccaneers, 3.5 points favorites. Tampa Bay wins, Tampa Bay covers. In Baltimore, the Sunday games. In Baltimore, the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, the 13.5 point betting favorites. Baltimore came back and played with confidence after getting dominated by the Chiefs the week before. They took their anger on the Washington football team. Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have another good day. The Cincinnati defense is not good. Baltimore is going to make Joe Burrow look a lot more like a rookie quarterback. Joe Burrow had a really good game last week in his first win for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Burrow and Mixon will probably fall back to earth a bit this week against the Ravens. I don't know. I'm not going to be confident. I don't know if the Ravens will cover the 13-point spread. That's another question. But I do think Baltimore will win this game. But Cincinnati could hang in there depending on how Joe Burrow does. Joe Burrow is looking like the face of the franchise. But I think Baltimore is going to win. I'm just not confident they'll cover the spread. In Atlanta, the Atlanta Falcons 0-4 going up against the 2-2 Carolina Panthers. Carolina definitely playing over their heads. They are well coached by Matt Rule. Teddy Bridgewater has been good at quarterback, but not necessarily great. He's been effective. They've not missed a beat without Christian McCaffrey. Carolina is playing over their heads at 2-2. Atlanta at 0-4. They are stumbling at this point. Dan Quinn is likely coaching for his job this week in Atlanta. If Atlanta loses this game, 0-5 is going to be two things are going to happen. One, Dan Quinn will be gone. Dirk Koetter will become the interim head coach. Two, Atlanta could decide to become a seller at the deadline. Atlanta's offense is great. I think they will hang in there with Carolina. The, the defense is another story, especially the secondary. But I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is built to win a shootout. I'm not confident in this pick, but I think this is finally going to be the week where Atlanta gets off the schneid and gets a close victory over the Carolina Panthers. But I also would not be totally shocked if Carolina goes in there, gets a win, and gets Dan Quinn fired in Atlanta this week. In Kansas City, the Kansas City Chiefs, the 13-point favorites over the Las Vegas Raiders. Kansas City has ownage on the Raiders. I'm going to look up when's the last time the Raiders have beaten the Chiefs. I don't think the Raiders have beaten the Chiefs under Andy Reid. But pretty much every single Chiefs game since Andy Reid's taken over has pretty much have not even been close. All right, last time the Raiders beat the Chiefs was in 2017, so I stand corrected. The Raiders have gotten one win over an Andy Reid coach Chiefs team. But I don't think but the Raiders defense has been horrible. Paul Guenther probably's got to get shown the door very soon in Las Vegas. Raiders offense is fine. They've got Renfro back. They're getting Waller back. Jacobs is a good runner. But Las Vegas's last win at Arrowhead was 2012. I don't see that changing. Maybe the Raiders can keep it somewhat close. I don't think so. This is one of those situations where I'm going to quote the Giants announcer Dwayne Kuiper. Ownage is ownage. And I think Kansas City is going to win. They're going to cover the spread until the Raiders can prove me wrong. In Pittsburgh, the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, the 7.5-point favorites over the Eagles. Philadelphia coming off a win over the San Francisco 49ers. This likely spared Jim Schwartz the axe. Now they go to Heinz Field. Not an easy task. They play their cross-state rival, the Steelers. Steelers have a much better defense, a much healthier defense than the 49ers. The Steelers have a healthier offense. Big Ben, effective. Chris Conner can run the football effectively. I don't see Carson Wentz did just enough to win against the 49ers last week. I'm not sold that the Eagles are back. I think the Eagles are going to revert back to the Eagles that have the 2 losses and the tie. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins. Pittsburgh covers. In DC, the LA Rams take on the Washington football team. The Rams won in an anticlimactic game, which was unfortunately foreshadowed by Jalen Ramsey fighting with Golden Tate. We'll see if the Rams are awake for this game. This could be once, or if we see a very motivated Henderson and a very motivated Jared Goff, a very motivated Jalen Ramsey. Washington benching Dwayne Haskins in favor of Kyle Allen. The interesting fact to this game is that Dwayne Haskins is inactive. Alex Smith will serve as the backup. I don't think Kyle Allen's any better than Dwayne Haskins. As the season went on last year in Carolina, Kyle Allen got continuously worse. I totally would not be surprised at some point we see Alex Smith return onto the Washington field for one last snap. I don't think it's really going to matter who's starting at quarterback this week. Maybe they're trying to save Dwayne Haskins from the looks of Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. I don't think it's going to matter who starts at quarterback. LA's going to win. LA's going to cover. I think we're going to see the LA Rams team that's going to be sharp and a little angry. In New York, the New York Jets take on the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals have been underwhelming the last 2 weeks. Cardinals should be 4-0. They are 2-2. They've underwhelmed against Detroit. They've underwhelmed against Carolina. If Arizona loses to the Jets, I think we've got to start. I think there's going to be some scrutiny around Cliff Kingsbury. The defense hasn't looked great the last couple weeks. Good part is they are playing Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco starting over Sam Darnold. I don't think we see Sam Darnold in a Jets uniform again this year. I think at this point it's on to Trevor Lawrence for the New York Jets. This team's quit. This team's quit on Adam Gase. Gase is going to get fired sooner or later. Even with the mediocre play of the Cardinals as of late, I think this has to be the game where Kenyon Drake gets it going. I really do. Drake's been really AWOL in the running game, and that's really put a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray. It's time to put the weight off of Kyler Murray's shoulders. I think this is going to be a game where Arizona gets the win, but I am not confident they will cover. In Houston, the Houston Texans playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, Minshew Mania coming to Houston. Last few weeks, Gardner Minshew is the Jaguars are looking more like the Jaguars we expected to see in 2020. Gardner Minshew's not been terrible actually at quarterback this year. He's been effective, but I think Houston at 0-4 after laying an egg against Minnesota, fires Bill O'Brien, bring in Romeo Crennel, who's likely the bridge holder, until Eric Bieniemy arrives in Houston. Houston, the 6-point favorites. I think that's a bit generous. I do think Houston's going to get off the schneid this week. They are going to get a win. But I am not confident they are going to cover the spread. But pretty much right out the gear, and hopefully we see Eric Bieniemy with Deshaun Watson in 2021. In San Francisco, the Miami Dolphins against the San Francisco 49ers. A lot of questions after the Niners laid an egg against the Philadelphia Eagles last week. I don't know who's going to start at quarterback for the 49ers. Good news, it looked like Jimmy G was limited at practice, so that could be a good sign there. Nick Mullins was bad last week. Nick Mullins was awful, but it was not just him. Kyle Shanahan had a stinker of a game. This was, I think, one of Kyle Shanahan's worst games as a head coach. I think hopefully the coaching's better. Hopefully spread the ball more to Jeff Wilson Jr. this week. Get Hasty some touches. But we'll see if it's, who knows who's going to start this week. If it's going to be Jimmy G, if it's going to be Mullins, or if it's going to be Beathard. The defense, they just can't keep bodies healthy. They are down to practice squad players playing on the edge, practice squad players playing cornerback. They might get Witherspoon back to play corner. And that's Miami. You don't know what you're going to get from Fitzpatrick from week to week. This game could be a toss-up. This is must win for the 49ers. If the Niners fall to 2-3, actually it may not be a killer, but it makes the path to the playoffs a lot more difficult. Getting to the 6 and 7 seed in the NFC this year, you might luck out. It might be 8 wins. 8 to 9 wins might be the goal. The Niners just need to get healthy. I think the Niners are going to play angry this week, but I don't think they're going to cover. They're going to win, but not cover. Niners win a close one, and hopefully we get some bodies back. Just don't get hurt. In Dallas, the 9.5-point favorites against the New York Giants. Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to lock Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's my lock for the week. Here's where I think my upset could come. Dallas, the 9-point favorites. Not when Dallas's defense has been shit this year. Mike McCarthy has not been a good coach this year. You can't ask Dak Prescott to throw the football 50 to 60 times in every single game. At some point, Prescott's going to get hurt. Or he's going to start or defenses are really going to start hitting Dak Prescott. Granted, New York's not a good defense, but they tend to show up for the New York-Dallas games. This could be one of those games where Daniel Jones could get motivated. I think Joe Judge and Jason Garrett would love to pull an upset on their former team. Mike Nolan has not been good at defensive coordinator. Dallas has almost given up 40 points or more, close to 40 points in the last 3 games. But McCarthy's got to get Ezekiel Elliott going this week. It's just, you got to get Elliott running the football at some point. But I think this is McCarthy's Waterloo. If Dallas does not get a win here, you might start talking about Mike McCarthy being one and done in Dallas. This is the game where I think an upset could happen. I am taking New York to upset the Dallas Cowboys this week. Just because it is New York, this is the New York Dallas rivalry. New York always tends to show up for this rivalry. But this is going to be my upset pick this week. Denver, New England. New England, the 8-point favorites against the Denver Broncos. Is it? We'll see who's starting this week. Is it going to be Ripien or is it going to be Bortles? It looks like Drew Lock was practicing today. You know what? If Drew Lock is starting, this could be the makings of an upset. Brian Hoyer and Jared Stidham looked terrible at quarterback last week for New England. They need Cam back and soon. The defense can hold it, but it's not going to help much if Drew Lock is starting. If Drew Lock starts, Denver wins. If it's Ripien, New England wins. I'm going to take Denver to upset. I think this is one where I think Denver pulls an upset here. I am not confident. That 8-point favor is a fool's gold right there. On to Cleveland, Indianapolis. This is going to be a good game. Indianapolis Colts and Cleveland Browns. These two teams could be battling for one of the two wild card spots here. Indianapolis, Philip Rivers has only been asked to be a game manager, and it works. Indianapolis' formula is good defense and running the football. And it works. Cleveland, defense, defense has been up and down for Cleveland. Mayfield's been effective, but not great. Cleveland's now starting to run the ball. That's Cleveland's bread and butter, running the football. But if Cleveland's able to stack the box and force Philip Rivers to throw the football, then this could become a winnable game for the Browns. If Indianapolis is able to shut down Baker Mayfield and shut down the run, Indy wins. I think this could be a very low-scoring football game. Colts, the 2-point favorites. Colts are going to win. Colts look like a wild card team this year, and they could contend for the AFC South title this year. Give me the Colts in this game. But this is a real good game. I think this could be the game of the week right here. Minnesota Vikings against the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, the 7-point favorites. Minnesota has looked better the last couple weeks, despite the fact the defense is still bad. The bad news is they're going to Seattle. They're going to play They're going to play Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson putting MVP numbers up. I think Minnesota is going to be able to hang in the game, but in the end, Seattle's going to win. Seattle's going to cover. Seattle is looking like a Super Bowl contender this year. On to the Dome. The New Orleans Saints against the LA Chargers. Saints pulled off a win against the Detroit Lions. Breeze looked better. Now, San Diego... I keep calling them San Diego. The LA Chargers defense is not bad. I think their defense is better. If they can shut down Kamara, and they might be able to put pressure on Brees, they could bring problems to Drew Brees. And also, they've got a good quarterback in Justin Herbert. But this is the Chargers. I don't think they're going to win. They're going to keep it close, but they're going to find a way to lose this game. That's just how the Chargers are. And they're without Austin Eckler this week, so now it's going to be more on Justin Herbert's arm this week. I'm going to say Saints, but I am not confident they are going to cover the spread. This will conclude it for NFL Week 5. We'll be back Saturday for the post-fight show after UFC Fight Night. Everybody have a good Wednesday night and stay